Okay, this is the second day of 6-6. Okay, day one was all about trapezoids. Today's about kites. And I don't have much for notes, but I have stuff to do. And if you do everything you're supposed to do, you will have used the period provided to us, along with have everything done and hopefully a better understanding of all of chapter 6 from 6-1 all the way up to 6-6 today. Okay, so let's focus on what was going to happen. We're on the very bottom of that last page we did in 6-6. And today's objective is still to verify and use properties of trapezoids and kites. Today is about kites. And the first thing we're learning about with kites, the diagonals are perpendicular. Okay, now I need you to be aware of something. I'm going to harken back to your funnest chapter you had this year, he says sarcastically. Chapter 4, right? Yeah, remember? Let's talk about it for a second. Here's the deal. I'm going to use this picture here. You guys don't mark up yours, but I want to talk about AD and AB, they're congruent, right? They're marked that way. DC, BC, they're congruent. They're marked that way. Well, gosh, what do you know about AC if I'm talking about proving two triangles congruent? What would I have said about AC? Is it congruent to itself, right? In the two triangles, so that's reflexive. So now we have two triangles congruent to each other by side congruence. Now I'm pointing this out because now all three angles in one triangle are correspondingly congruent to all three angles in the other by corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So this information that we just ran through from chapter 4 is being used now in chapter 6 because now in a angle ABC and angle ADC are the same angle. And we're going to talk about that being the short axis of your kite. Your kite has a long axis and a short axis. The long axis has the longer diagonal. The short axis has the shortest part of the diagonal, the shorter diagonal. The long axis diagonal is actually a bisector of the angles it goes to. Okay, so if I look at this, that red line, AC, is my long axis diagonal, and BAC and DAC are congruent. Okay, right? And that makes sense because the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. But also, when I'm looking at this other one, that BCA and DCA are also congruent because it is the angle bisector of that part of the axis. Okay, as we're looking through this, I'm pointing this information out because students have a tendency to forget about it. Now, remember, diagonals are perpendicular. Long axis is an angle bisector. Short axis is not. Okay, so keep that in mind. Short axis, however, when I'm looking at the short axis of a kite, is the base of two isosceles triangles. Do you see them? The short axis AD is actually the base of two isosceles triangles. So now there's other properties using isosceles triangles that'll come into this as well. So please keep this in mind as we're doing the next 4 problems. And after these 4 problems, we'll be done with notes and we'll go through our assignment corrections. Now, in problem 8, I'm asking you to find the measure of angle 1, 2, and 3 based on the properties I just covered. Your turn, go for it. Now, keep in mind, we just learned that diagonals are perpendicular. I'm just going to say something that was wrong. The diagonals I'm saying it again. The diagonals are perpendicular in a kite. So angle 1 is 90 degrees. Okay. The long axis diagonal does bisect the short axis diagonal. So angle 2, I want you to be aware of something here. I'm looking at this triangle that angle 2 and angle 1 are a part of. Angle 1's 90, and that 52 and angle 2 should be complementary to each other because the two acute angles in a right triangle add up to 90 degrees. So 90 minus 52 is 38 degrees. So angle 2 is 38 degrees. Okay, I suppose I should have a degree on that 90. But then my last one is that long axis of the kite is a symmetry divider. Okay. Angle 3 is the same as that 52 degree angle. Does that make sense? So angle 3 is 52 degrees. Are there any questions regarding the values I found or the properties I talked about as I found those values? Your turn, do 9. Your turn, do 9. Now, angle 1's 90, angle 3's 36, angle 2 is 90 minus 36, which is 54. My only concern right now, I just talked through all the numbers that we're going to put in. Please put them on the right blanks. Angle 1 should be 90 degrees. Okay, angle 2, we're looking at the fact, well, let's go right for angle 3 is 36. And angle 2 is 90 minus 36, which will give us a 54. Are there any questions about that? Okay, last two, kind of a self-quiz. See what you know, and please be advised, same side interior angles are back in play. After you finish A, do B. You should be able to do both at this point in time. Did you guys get the assignment yesterday? What? No? I was a mean, heartless, cruel guy yesterday. I guess we won't correct the assignment. Okay, so now, angle 1 is 78 degrees. Were you okay with that? Okay, and again, because of that isosceles triangle idea, base angles are going to be the same. So angle 1, 78 degrees. Angle 2, they're perpendicular, 90 degrees. Angle 3, 78 plus something makes 90. It is 12. And that's where I'm going with those values. The next thing is knowing that 1 and 86 are supplementary. Okay, so angle 1 should be 94 degrees. And knowing that 2 and 48 are also supplementary, and knowing that that should be 132 degrees. Are there any follow-up questions regarding those? Now, good or for bad, you guys just get to have me shut up because I neglected to give this to you yesterday. We will have time today in class, not only to finish those 12 really super difficult questions. But to complete this and do the remainder of the work I'm going to have placed up. But the first thing I want you to do before we move on is fill out the quad flow chart. Remember, this is the last piece of your quad flow chart that we need about kites. So that's here. Take the next 3 minutes, get that done. Make sure you get those other things completed. Make sure you're familiar with that quad flow chart. And today you should be adding. They printed one out. You should be adding to the back of it with the other information that we're going to work through as you guys correct your 6164 quiz mistakes. And you'll correct those and you'll keep your quiz. And the reason why I want you to keep them and I want you to have them correct is because you should use your quiz to help you review for the test that is Thursday next week, a week from today. You got 6 days left and you got your last new chapter test. Okay, and then we're just reviewing for the final and getting ready for it. You need one? We're talking about a grid, right? I think I got an extra one sitting in here. I thought I did. Yeah, there it is. Here, sir. Any other quad flow needs? Anybody else need the quad flow? Those folks at home, we don't got much left. I'm just going to give you a list of what's we're covering, and I'm going to make sure that on the video we have the entire quad flow available for people to see. So you got those, and we'll get square done when everybody's done with the quadratic flow chart. That way, those people that needed to fill it out will have that available to them at home, or they can just pop on and look at it on their phone or Chromebook. Okay, so now here's the deal. We got to get square in there, so everybody has that. So that's complete on the flat quad flow chart. Should be complete. And what we'll be doing today, you guys will finish up your assignment, and while you're working on that, I'm going to hand back your quiz. When you get your quiz, I want you to correct that before you continue finishing your assignment. But your quiz corrections and your assignment should be done with about 10 minutes to go in the hour. I have some folks that owe me a quiz and a homework quiz. But as you're finishing things up, if you get done early, I have a file in your chapter 6 file that is for your 6-1 to 6-4 homework quizzes. You can practice at the 6-2, 6-3, 6-4 homework quizzes, and that's the list I'm going to give you right now. If I can just pop this on. Seriously. Okay, so this is what we should do. And by the way, these 5 equations are useful for your 6-1 material, and you'll notice that when you get your quiz back, this was page 1 of your quiz. Okay, so make sure that you know how to use each one of these. But finish your 6-6 assignment, complete the quad flow. We've already done that. Correct your quiz. Hand in any missing assignments that I haven't checked off. I've been handing them back to people. Complete your homework. Whatever that is, your homework quizzes in Schoology, 6-2, 6-3, 6-4. Reread your notes. Make your note card better. And people are like, well, what's my note card? May I steal this? Your quad flow chart is your note card. Fill in the back with all the other significant pieces of detail you need to be successful. And I say back there is no retest for chapter 6. Do well on your first time. Know your vocabulary. Go over assignments, quizzes. Have a fantastic note card, and this is the start of it. Okay, don't just jot this one down. Make sure you reread your notes. Make sure you pull things you need out and put it on your note card so you're ready to rock and roll this thing. And that's next Thursday. Okay, All right, good luck with things and make sure you're very productive during the hour.